Hello everyone, today we'll be talking about the presidential elections to be held on 1st of September. Just kidding, that one is not part of what my YouTube channel is going to be, so just a small little reminder for you guys to put in a little bit of votes on that day. So like I said, this is just meant as a joke. We're going to touch on two articles, more of this first one, because I see when the news came out on, when was this, 2 days ago, right? Then I got quite some people sending me this article, quite a lot of attention over this, like, hey, why the market isn't it supposed to cool down already? Then how come the sales blah 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 all went up like crazy? And you can see over here, developer sales more than quintuple is what, 5 times, right? Because quadruple it's 4 times, so 5 times please correct me if I'm wrong, to a near 2-year high of 1,400 plus units in a single month. So when I see news like this, I'm like, actually previously I had one video that actually talked about it, that all these news are in a way very, very predictable. In fact, when I see this kind of news, I feel like, I'm a seer, for those of you into who watch Marvel, obviously Hamdell he's not a seer. I'm just putting his face because his eyes look special. But yeah, I feel like I can see the future when I see news like this. Obviously, because like I mentioned in the previous video back in June, that all these articles they don't factor in that, hey, these are the launches that are going to be coming up next month. June was a very slow month because a lot of people were going on holidays. Developers don't want to launch when everyone's on holiday because they are not going to get the kind of hype. And that's why they pushed back to when everyone came back from holiday. And then suddenly, true enough, everyone started looking at properties again. And I think this is just only, I wouldn't say common, like human nature. I don't like to say human nature because I myself don't behave like this. I would say most humans, most people the crowd mentality. That when they go on holiday, everyone want to go on holiday. When everyone wants to queue up for food, if everyone wants to queue up for nasi lemak, everyone also want to queue up for nasi lemak. So when I see queue, all the more I don't enjoy. I'd rather just go for something that has no queue, even if the food sucks a little bit. To me, it's just filling out the stomach. But hey, there are a lot of people who think otherwise. So June, not enough launches due to people going on holidays. July, suddenly all come back together, all want to rush and launch because of all these hungry month. Later we'll talk a little bit more about it. And that's why with all the major launches in a single month, it is only expected that in fact, I'll just go and watch back this video for those of you who don't believe. Then I think I already mentioned that, when all these launch together, then the news is gonna come out like, record high or very, very high sales. All this news does not matter. Okay, let me just reiterate again. All these news do not matter. It's just a fact, telling you a fact. It's not meant as a sentiment thing. Of course, you can see it as a sentiment, but if you choose to see it as a sentiment, I'm sorry to say, it's not gonna be a very accurate look of the market. And people like us, if we know the figures, we know the numbers, you can easily tell. So in a way, people treat us like seer, but you just need to know where to find the info, how to interpret info the right way. That is very, very important. Everyone can access the same info, but how do you interpret the info? That is another level. Alright, so far they say lackluster performance of 5 other new launches so far in August due to blah 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 souring. I myself, I don't believe in this. Even now, higher interest rate. Yeah, higher interest rate. You're telling me that higher interest rate did not affect the month of July. Cannot be right. It is definitely much not so. It's definitely not because of interest rate that the market in a way has slowed down in August. We are only barely halfway through August. If you think about it, these few new launches, they are not affected by interest rates because most of them, they just launch. They are not subjected to loans at this point because they haven't even finished the foundation yet. That's why these new launches, this does not affect them. I don't know why this article came up with this, but these 5 new launches performance is definitely not related to this. Okay, we'll talk a little bit more about that later. From just 200 plus in June, definitely because there was a lack of new launches, like we said. And then 82% of them were from the major few launches, such as this one, blah blah blah. And then on a year-on-year basis, or like I said, this one is really highly dependent on what was launched in that particular month. It does not reflect sort of market sentiment. I'm very sure if you suddenly kind of say a big project comes in and launch at the end of this month, suddenly this article will be different already. Okay, so just to add in a little bit of rationality in the market. Why am I doing this? Because it's more of the add in the rationality. Sometimes I see the market, it doesn't make sense. People are behaving like they cannot see the future, when the future in a way is so obvious. Okay, then the number of units launched in July will jump to blah blah blah, because there's 4 major units, there's 4 major developments being launched at the same time. Not on the same time, maybe just 1 week apart, and this is highly expected. In the first 2 weeks, these are the 5 new projects, and EC, which is expected to be very popular. And given you got the Tengah, then the ACS thing, some I actually heard of some parents actually just buying there for the school. Well, I got nothing better to say, but I mean, ultimately they're still gonna make money. After all, it's an EC in a new place. But if they are buying for investment, I agree. Go ahead and do it. But if you're buying just for school, well, maybe you're just lucky that you happen to buy into something that's cheap. This is a small project, this is a small project, this is a small project, this is a decent project, but it's pretty pricey. Have I done a Lake Garden review? I can't remember suddenly. Recently, too many things happening all together. Probably not. If so, I think I did, right. For just jog my memory. Too many videos being produced at the same time also. So recently has been a little bit bogged down by a lot of things. Family issues, health issues, blah blah blah, all that kind of things. Not all are negative, of course, but it just happens that a lot of things. So in case you're wondering why I haven't been producing videos for the past 2 weeks, yep, there's pretty much reasons, but this I'm sorry, that's just an excuse. Okay, my bad. So this is the interesting part. Developers rush to put out their projects before the Hungry Ghost starts on Wednesday. Okay, so if this is really the reason, I kind of believe that this is the reason, because some of them pantang. After all, most of them are Chinese developers. They also know that some Chinese pantang. But this is just something that I thought I would want to debunk the fact a little bit, just because it's Hungry Ghost month. Doesn't mean you shouldn't be buying properties. That is provided if you are looking. I'm not telling you that you should be buying, and that's what everyone says, right? If you have plans to buy, you see a decent deal, I will highly suggest against waiting until the Hungry month goes over, then you buy, because you don't know whether somebody that is not this month is going to snap up the particular unit that you're looking out for. Sometimes when you're looking at a particular unit, somehow another person for some whatever reasons will still be looking at the same unit. Then shit happens lah. Okay, then since we are looking at the Hungry month thing, I did a little bit of research, and then I just went back to 2019. And then let's see, this is how many years ago? This is like 4 years ago already. So over here, this was the start of the Hungry Ghost month back in 2019. Please correct me if I'm not wrong again. Then these are 4 particular projects over here, and you look at the kind of profit margin that I made. Okay, but I would say the focus is more of the annualized. If you have anything above 3 plus 4%, I think this is considered quite a very good investment already, compared to quite a few others supposedly in a way better location, MRT, shopping mall, whatever you have, good school, and then they are only making 1 or 2% or maybe 0 point something percent annualized gains. These are heavy hitters in the market, very profitable developments. And why am I showing you this? Because you see, this was the period that they bought previously, and then they sold. They already sold at this price. So when was this period? This was like the Hungry month, right? Okay, I'm not very particularly pandang. I'm not very particularly into this kind of superstitions kind of thing. But I will assume that maybe about plus 1 month. Okay, so maybe about plus 1 month. That means around until mid of September. Okay, for those that are more knowledgeable, please feel free to educate me if I'm wrong. But I would believe that all these were bought back when Hungry Ghost Fund was still active, right? And then they managed to make this kind of money. So is Hungry Ghost Month a bad timing to buy? I think it really depends on your beliefs lah. Okay, so this is just one of the interesting things that I've gone and research and find out, and just for your own info. Sentiments have softened significantly in view of weaker sales so far for this. I really don't think. Okay, I highly disagree with this statement. I'm not trying to say that, market is bull. That's not my intention, please lah. I realize that a lot of people tend to misinterpret my intentions, but it's okay. I mean, as long as you can interpret whatever you want. But if you are, unless you are consulting me, and then you know what exactly I'm talking about. But sometimes people like to assume the wrong thing, and then they have the misinfo. This is just their fault lah. I mean, if you don't bother to clarify with a professional, then why do I need to correct you? I mean, it's not my job to come and correct you just to make you feel good or whatever. Because I don't think that's my aim, and I can't really be bothered, honestly. So sentiment has softened in view of weaker sales. I highly don't think so. If today, like I said, you throw in a mega good development, this statement will definitely not be here. So it really depends on what kind of launches are you talking about in the particular month. Pent-up demand has mostly been absorbed. Genuine buyers are spoiled for choice. I don't think so. I think sometimes I would say quite a lot of the units now are in a way overpriced or in a fundamentally weak development, and that's why we are facing this. I can guarantee you again, like I said, if you launch a project at a good price and with a fundamentally strong characteristics, the pent-up demand will suddenly appear again. Will suddenly have very high pent-up demand again. Let's see. So some projects that are targeted at blah blah blah, and if investors or foreigners was hyped to. This one I agree. This one I would say that I agree that because of the ABSD, some foreigners are really don't bother looking at the local market because of how crazy it is. From 30% is really painful. I mean, it's 60%. And this leads us to the next article later, but we will save it for later. The high take-up rate for new launches may not be sustainable. This one I agree also, because if you think about it, last time back in 2018, 2019, when some of the more successful projects like today, those were like what we have seen so far, they are profitable. Example, Whistler Grand, Sterling, all these when they launch, they won't launch and sold at 60-70%, and like maybe 80-90%. They will launch and sold at maybe about 10 plus 20-30%. But people nowadays keep expecting that if this project doesn't hit 60 or 70%, it's considered a failure. Please, I've said a lot of times, high take-up rates for new launches may not show that this is a good development. It just represents the amount of hype that goes around with it. It does not represent anything in the resale market. I've seen pretty shitty characteristics of certain new launches, I'm gonna say. But when it comes to resale market, they suffer. But everyone is chonging into it. Then what for you want to follow? Please don't follow the crowd. Especially, it's like today, when everyone buys a particular stock in the stock market, everyone wants to follow along. It's like the Tesla craze lah. Everyone chase until at the peak already, still got people chase, and then the market crash already, then people just leave hanging there, and they don't know why are they chasing in the first place. Or because everyone is buying. I also don't encourage you to get into real estate market just because everyone is buying. Today in this market, it may or may not be the right time to buy. It really depends on what you're buying. So please do a due diligence, especially if you have a particular aim. if unless you're telling me, hey, TT, I just want to buy for own stay, I don't care whether I lose money or not, I just like this one, then go ahead, buy whatever you want. Just shut off my channel, no need, unfollow, no need, because you don't need the channel like mine. Just go and enjoy the place that you want. Okay, so anyway, new record prices for some beyond the reach of most HDB upgraders. This one is maybe true. Some of them prefer three bedrooms, some of them prefer 2 bedrooms, some prefer 4 bedroom. It really depends. I've seen seen like a spectrum of these people. Not everyone needs space. That's what we need to shift away from, thinking that everyone in this market today only wants big space. Yeah, big space is nice, but I have some clients that tell me that they don't want big space because they really hate cleaning the area. Everyone wants 2 bed 2 bath, right? I have clients that tell me, oh no, I don't want 2 bed 2 bath. It's a waste of space to me. I only want 2 bed 1 bath. So you say every particular product, if you market it well, there will be some people who will want it. So it just depends on what kind of crowd are you targeting. Foreign demand is needed to absorb. I think I agree. There are some buyers. There are some properties that tend to be sold high prices to a particular nationality or particular profile of buyers. So the share of private home purchases by foreigners have cooled a lot. So if you are thinking that ABSD drop, ABSD increase doubled to 60%, it's going to cause a terrifying effect in the market. I'm sorry to say unlikely, because the foreigner share of buying local properties was only 3.something% back in May, and then now it has dropped to only 1.5%. So their share of the market is like 1 point something. How are they going to shake the market if their share is going to be so small? And this is exactly what our government is planning on, because they don't want these guys with a hell lot of cash to come in and flood our market and manipulate the market. And probably this is why we are seeing this particular article over here that we're going to talk about later. So just to wrap up, when you see this kind of article, just take it with, in a way, pinch of salt, and interpret, just because everything is, other than facts you cannot dispute, like how many units sold, all this. Now if you're talking about how people, particular analysts or whatever, view it is really subjective on how do you interpret things. Like I said, I did this one because I have all kinds of people sending me this, then they start going to panic mode, or they are like, oh wow, this market is at all-time peak, blah blah blah. So this is just a way for you to interpret and learn how to see articles. Then this is the interesting one. The news came out, I think, almost the same day, 16 August. It was like splash over the agent network, the common, the consumer network. Everywhere we're talking about it. Well, you see, imagine this kind of amount of cash. I remember somebody that was telling me, I can't remember who, they were telling me, oh, this is the only time I've seen this amount of cash being stacked like this is like, when you burn you burn you won't burn for the 7 months, you burn the kind of cash. How are you gonna see so much cash? I've never seen so much cash in my life before. I mean, I don't want to. If I've seen this amount of cash, it probably means that I'm part of these guys, right? So I'm not going to talk too much about this, but it seems like there are quite some dirty money in a way going on, which is not surprising. But it's good that the government is finally cracking down on them. And for those agents involved, I mean, there are quite some agents watching my channel. If you know your clients are dealing with this kind, then you may want to stay away from this, because you're potentially gonna get yourself in trouble by transacting such a deal. But in a way, it's good that these people get caught, and then we gradually clean out society. I believe there are still a lot of them, but it's just dependent on how much the government is going to crack down on them. Anyway, good job to the authorities involved in nabbing all these people. And last part, for those of you who are wondering that how come there is no crash in the market, blah blah blah, this article already essentially shows us that Singaporeans, we just have a lot of cash sitting around. And if you have a lot of cash sitting around, why would there be a fire sale? Because if the property is not doing well or whatever, I can just take out the cash and go and fund all my monthly installment. I mean, no, I mean, our property is not doing well, then the career is not doing well, then they can always take out cash on, because a lot of them, they are, I'm not saying that all the Singaporeans are, please, when I talk about certain things, please put it in the appropriate context. I understand there are certain profiles in Singapore that are struggling to live paycheck to paycheck. There are also certain profiles in Singapore that are saving only a small proportion of their income. There's also a proportion that are saving a large portion, or maybe it's just their income is so large that you have still quite a sizable amount of income being saved every month. And this is leading eventually to all these 30 billion. Can you imagine how much money 30 billion is? 1 billion to build a national stadium, right? Can you imagine building 30 national stadiums? Can you imagine every town you can build like national stadiums? I think this is incredible. Like, this amount of money, this amount of liquidity floating in the market. And this is only the amount that DBS is loaning MAS. Can you imagine how much more DBS is holding on to? Because why are they loaning? Because they find that they don't know what to do. Too much money. Can you imagine having so much money that you do not know what to do? That is I would say most of us will be happy to have this problem. And remember, this article just shows us that the sheer amount of liquidity in the market is basically the reason why our real estate market is so stable today. Okay, that will be all we have for today, and see you guys next time. Bye bye.